It's time to get controversial today because I'm gonna listen to Metallica's Black Album for the very first time. Their self-titled album from 1991. Now, people either love this album or they hate it. And I mean, I assume I'm gonna love it because I know 4 songs, I think, from here, and I basically love all those songs, so I expect that I'm gonna love the entire thing. But a lot of the diehard Metallica fans watching this video, even before they probably watch the whole thing, they'll be like, this album sucks, they went so mainstream and all this, and I'm like, I don't really care. This album is so important when it comes to the success of Metallica, so I'm very excited. And my dad said it's his favorite Metallica album, and he's not like the biggest Metallica fan ever, but I know a lot of people do have this as their favorite, so I know I've said that in 4 videos now, so I guess we'll have to see. My favorite still is Master of Puppets with Ride the Lightning really close behind, but I'm interested to see if I'll like it more than Kill 'Em All or Injustice for All, or even more than, Ride the Lightning or Master of Puppets. Like, I'm interested where it will rank amongst the other ones. The album came out August 12th, 1991. There are 12 songs on here. It's an hour and 3 minutes, and those 12 songs are Enter Sandman, Sad But True, Holier Than Thou, The Unforgiven, Wherever I May Roam, Don't Tread on Me, Through the Never, Nothing Else Matters, Of Wolf and Man, The God That Failed, My Friend of Misery, and The Struggle Within. Now, I'm just so excited to listen to this album just because I know it's supposed to be pretty good just by like the mainstream standards, and I don't really care about bands going mainstream or anything like that. And the songs I know on here are, of course, Enter Sandman, Sad But True, The Unforgiven, and Nothing Else Matters. I think that's it. I actually don't know Wherever I May Roam. I know that's one of the big ones on here, and honestly, these songs are not too long. I think the longest song on here, while just looking at it quickly, would be My Friend of Misery, I think, which is 6 minutes and 49 seconds, whereas the other albums have some songs that are like 9 minutes long and stuff. This one doesn't, so I'm interested, but it seems that there are more tracks on here because there are 12 tracks, so I'm very interested, and I just love so much of what I've heard already. Of course, Enter Sandman is like one of the most famous songs ever. It's not my favorite by any means. Sad But True is like the heaviest song ever, like in the sound. It's an amazing song. The Unforgiven is incredible. Nothing Else Matters is also incredible. The drum sound is just unbeatable there. So I will be back in an hour and 3 minutes. So I know the diehard Metallica fans may hate me, but I'm going to be completely honest. I love this album. I think it is incredible, and it's quite possibly the best recorded and sounding album of all time. And I don't mean because of the songs in there. Obviously there are other albums that I prefer more. I actually even prefer Master of Puppets and Ride the Lightning to this one. Yes, it's a little spoiler for the video, but oh well, who really cares here? But just the drum sound, the vocals, the way everything is recorded is just perfect. And it's like, it's the only album that I can think of that like really stands out to me where I can like hear them in the studio doing it. Now, of course, there are other albums that are similar in a way, but this one just for me stands above all else. And yes, I love this album, okay? I know a lot of people really don't like this album. I know a lot of people say, oh, they went mainstream and all this. And sure, some of their songs are definitely less thrashy on here. There's more ballads on this one than any of the other ones, but for me, I'm a sucker for the ballads. I love some of the ballads. They're some of my favorite Metallica songs, yet this album also does have the thrash songs on here, and I'll talk about that when I talk about each track individually. But oh well, like, who really cares? I don't really see that as an issue because it really lets their different kind of talent shine in a way. And we finally got bass. Yes! Of course, the whole joke of the no bass on Injustice for All is not only true, but it's kind of sad, but here, the bass really shines throughout a lot of it. Of course, not Cliff Burton level of like the other ones, but it's quite prominent in a lot of the songs, and I just think that Jason did a really good job on this one. Of course, Kirk Hammett. This is definitely the reason why all the wah pedal jokes come in, because he'd used it a few times on like the other ones, like Disposable Heroes, my favorite song from Master of Puppets. The intro has the wah and like everything, so there's little parts here, but a ton of the solos on this album have the wah, and they sound very similar in a way, but they're all really awesome. Metallica found a way to make some of the songs kind of similar in like in different ways, not like they all sound the same. They definitely don't, trust me. But like some of the soldiers, some of the kind of chord progressions in a way, just like on first listen, sound a little bit similar, but it still works perfectly for me. I don't have an issue with that at all. I honestly don't have any issues with the album. There's maybe one song that was the weak link, but it wasn't a bad song at all. And I will talk about that song when I talk about the full track list, but Kirk is just amazing. He will never fail to impress me. He's quite possibly my favorite guitarist. As I've said in many videos, James's vocals are easily the best they've ever been. I feel like this will be like peak of his vocals just because, you know, he kind of hit that perfect age here and because of how well they're recorded. I mean, when you look at a song like Nothing Else Matters, of course, one of their biggest ballads, one of their biggest songs, he sounds incredible on that song. He just sounds so good here. And Lars, oh my God, was he incredible on here. I know the whole joke is Lars sucks and everything. That's stupid. He's one of the best drummers ever, okay? And even in the songs where the drumming is a little bit more simplistic, it still works because everything feels like such a hard hit. Where it's just like, and it just works so well, and obviously it sounds a lot better than it does there. That's just my drumming impersonation. I'm not a drummer if you can't tell, and I just love it. I just really love this album, and it's one that I can definitely see myself listening to more and more. I did like it more than Kill 'Em All, and I think I liked it more than Injustice for All. I could definitely see myself listening to it more, although I did really love Injustice for All. I've loved all 5 of these albums, and I don't think it's as good as Ride the Lightning or Master of Puppets, but it's really close to those. Although, when I was just, you know, editing my favorite albums of all time, Master of Puppets jumped into my top 10. That's how good the album is, and that's how many times I've listened to it. But without further ado, let's jump into the track list. So obviously it kicks off with one of the biggest songs of all time, Enter Sandman, and Enter Sandman is a great song. It's by no means my favorite on the album. It isn't even close to one of my favorites, but it's also like one of those songs that I've just heard so many times, you know? Like some people are sick of some songs like Stairway to Heaven or Smells Like Teen Spirit because I've heard them so many times, and it's not quite like that with Enter Sandman for me. Like it's one that every time I hear it, I'm like, okay, this is actually a really great song. But as I listen to it more and more, I realize how good that solo is. I mean, I know it's like, of course, the whole wah jokes and everything. That solo is amazing, and it's just such an iconic song. I remember when I was younger, I think I was in like grade 5 or something, and my friend was, you know, he's a very anxious person, and he was scared of like monsters and stuff. Yes, in grade 5, whatever. And I remember, just because I knew the song quite well because of my dad, I went to the part where it said it's just the beast under your bed in your closet in your head, and I played that for him. I'm just, you know, just like, oh no, it's not real. I don't, that's just a fun story I always remember with this song. And then Sad But True is like top 3 songs on the album. I feel like you guys all know that it's one of the big songs on here, and it's just amazing. Like I kind of joked about it being the heaviest song of all time, but it's definitely one of them, not in like its content or anything, but just the sound of it. I mean, I'm pretty sure they used 8 different guitars to get that riff, and that riff is just amazing. And talking about the drums too, just incredible. And you still get like that thrash sound with James's vocals on this one. Then Holier Than Thou, or Holier Than Holier Than Thou, that's how I say it, is really amazing. It's, I think, the shortest song in this album, but still really sticks in your head, for me at least. Like it stuck in my head more than some of the other songs kind of in the middle here, but it still worked really well. And then the Unforgiven I reacted to, I think this might have been the only one on this album that I've reacted to, and it's a phenomenal song. I was trying to learn like the intro, the solo, intro solo, whatever you want to call it, Kirk's part, and it just really sticks with me. The vocals again on this one, I'll talk about the vocals a lot on this album because they're really great. This is just one where the chorus really sticks with you. Oh my god, I can't speak. And then Wherever I May Roam is another one of like I'm pretty sure it was a single. It's another one of the big songs on here. I didn't know what it sounded like, so going into it I was quite excited, and yeah, I could definitely see why it was released as a single. It's not like top 3 for me or anything, but I feel like a song like this will really stick in my head the more and more I listen to it. And then Don't Tread on Me is yeah, this one I think is a weak link of the album. Now, it's not bad at all, but there are definitely times in like the starting of the song where, you know, like there's almost like a chant in a way, not in the way of like Creeping Death though, and it isn't as good as the other ones, but it's by no means a bad song, and it doesn't take down the score or anything. Like it isn't like, oh my god, this is like the obvious weak link. It's just like when I was listening to it, I was like, okay, it's not as good, but Through the Never is amazing. It's another one of the more thrashy songs, and maybe I say that because it comes right before Nothing Else Matters, but Through the Never is another one that I definitely want to get like pumped up to and listen to more and more and more. But Nothing Else Matters, to be honest, it's probably the best track on here. Like, no matter what you guys say, I know that's a basic choice. I know it's the second biggest Metallica song on Apple Music, but it's probably like the best song, like, what is it called? Jeez. Like, objectively, and yes, music is subjective and everything, but when you look at like the talents and the way it was recorded, I genuinely think this could be the best recorded and sounding song out there, just for the way it was recorded. Not saying it's the best song of all time, it's probably one of them, but just the sound of it. The drums on here, I remember when I was listening to a few of these songs, just like the ones I knew, with my dad in the car, and because he's a drummer, he's just like, I love the sound of the drums. And I know that Bob Rock, of course, everybody has to give him big credit for recording this album, and they like slaved through it and everything, and I feel like it really worked with songs like Nothing Else Matters. It's such an important song. James, you know, taking the classical lessons, I think, and like doing the whole finger picking thing, and of course that opening is very iconic, just all the open strings. It's a phenomenal song. It's probably the best one. I'd say it might be my favorite. This one or Sad But True. I know that's basic picks, but it's phenomenal. And then Of Wolf and Man, I was really excited to listen to, just because the title of it is so awesome, and all these like 4 final songs work so well together for me, especially these three kind of like mesh together in a good way. Like, they kind of flow into each other very nicely, and they don't have like the smooth transitions that some albums have, you know, but it really works for me. The God That Failed is so underrated. I really hadn't heard any talk about this song. This one is like definitely on the better side. Like, I'm just looking at, you know, there's 6 tracks on here, so I might say it's probably in the top 6 or something. Like, it's a genuinely amazing song. And then My Friend of Misery might even be better. Like, it's kind of like, it just kind of builds. So Of Wolf and Man is great, The God That Failed is amazing, and then My Friend of Misery is also really great, but I feel like I might like The God That Failed a little bit more. This one just like, it really stuck with me compared to the other songs that I didn't know. I'd say this one probably stuck with me the most, or Wherever I May Roam, but that's just because it's a massive song. And then it finishes off, of course, with The Struggle Within, and it kind of opens with this like a different drumming than you'd expect. Like, it has what I associate with a marching band, and it's a great ending. Since I wasn't looking at my computer towards the end of here, I was like, okay, I'm wondering where the album is going to end, but the second that one started, I was like, yeah, this is definitely the album closer. I think that Metallica's Black Album is phenomenal. I know a lot of the thrash metal fans do not like it, or like the hardcore rock fans or whatever. I know metal and rock is different, but I feel like they might not like it as much because it's different, and I'm interested to see where it goes from here with Load, Reload, Saint Anger. I'm scared for that one. But I've heard that Hardwired to Self-Destruct is pretty good. Their album from 2008, Death Magnet or whatever it is, I'm not sure how that one is. So if you want to hear me talk about those albums, definitely let me know. I would like to rank all of them and put them on like a tier list, but I would like to listen to a few of them like this and Just for All, like more and more and more. So I won't do it till probably November or December maybe. But I am interested, what's your favorite post-Black album? Yeah. And also, what are your favorite tracks on this one? Because for me, it's a great album. It really is that 5 out of 5 album. And I was going into it expecting it to be great. And I'm so glad I loved it. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.